Ready to Love episode 10, and this is my part 2 because this week I did a part 1 on Sabrina, and you can catch that video as well. At the end of this video, I will leave a link to it. It'll be a picture right here. You can click on it and watch it because you know what? She deserved her own video this week. Sabrina was out the box, and no show Tina. Lord have mercy. I told y'all, I get tired of saying I told y'all. I've been saying this, it seems like now I sound like a broken record. But Tina ain't got no time for this experiment. And finally, I'm so happy she finally said it. And she finally admitted and showed up 10 minutes before everybody was going to leave, talking about she's overwhelmed. Well, I thought it was car trouble. I told you it wasn't no car trouble in 2022. It wasn't no car trouble. Like I said, she got problems juggling her life. And ain't nothing wrong with it. Like I said, she trying to have a business, raise a 2-year-old, and date five and six men at one time. You can't do that. That's what I'm saying. Stop telling women they can be super women and do everything, because it ain't true. It's a myth. Carmen, she got a slick mouth. She talking about Tina talking about she couldn't make it. She got car trouble. She was like, where's she coming from? Alaska? That's what I'm saying. We knew that little car trouble excuse was not an excuse. And then how Tina basically stood up Tommy as well. A no-show, a no-call, no-show for Tommy as well. Listen, Tina ain't got no respect for nobody else's time either. We understand she overwhelmed, but you can send a text message and call. Tina act like she living in the 1800s where you ain't got no reliable car, you can't text, and you can't call. Let me tell you, Tina's not only overwhelmed, I think she's also sort of flaky, period. Just on general purpose. She's flaky. But Carmen still continuing with her little competitive ways, talking about Sabrina is a good girl, but Carmen says she an even better woman. Well, you ain't got to worry no more, Carmen. Sabrina is out the picture. Donovan don't want to have nothing to do with Sabrina. I guarantee you that. Not after this episode. So Joy and Clifton heating it up in the hot tub and heating up everywhere else. I'm finally glad that these two can focus on each other and they can be a couple and they ain't got to pretend like they like other people no more, because I was sick of watching that. And I'm glad to see that they're starting to get to know each other a little bit better, a little bit more. I think Joy and Clifton spend a lot of time together off camera because their bond is really, really strong. And I can tell you that wasn't just because of this little time on camera. They spending a lot of time together. But when Joy was talking to Tommy, she was talking about how, you know, they got a few problems. And one of them problems is Clifton said the time Joy likes to talk to her exes, and, you know, maybe Joy thinks it's cleared up. But there go that little jealous streak of Clifton rearing his head again. He got a past. And I don't know if it's his past or his ex-girlfriend's past, but he got a whole issue going around this infidelity. He's had some really bad experiences surrounding it. And I don't know who was the culprit, him or the girlfriend of his. Who was the real one with the problem? Who has really made him gun shy? But you know, all during this episode of this retreat, the kid was looking like the lost puppy dog on the couch. That was such a sad scene to be at some retreat, some beautiful place. And there's the kid sitting on the couch all by herself. It was really sad to watch. And, you know, I like that she told him, hey, you know what? You could have said sorry. You didn't have to let me try to figure it out on my own. You could have, you know, approached the situation. I think they both could have done things differently. But then, well, you know what I didn't like afterwards? I didn't like afterwards the kid said, well, give me a hug. And you know what, girl, that was not a hug. That was cuddling. You was leaning into that hug far too long. I mean, it was really, really, really sad to watch. And I know Clifton felt real guilty. The kid was like, don't give me something you can't keep doing. He ain't gonna keep doing it. The kid, why did you even lean in for that hug? Girl, it's pathetic and sad to watch. It was really very awkward and uncomfortable to see this woman hugging and loving up on a man when the man has clearly told you he got eyes for Joy. I mean, deep, deep love for Joy. And in fact, when they was talking later on, they were talking about this is more than liking each other. I mean, they didn't use the L word, but they have clearly made a point that they're way beyond liking each other. Here come Paul trying to swoop in and fill up Dakia's head and make her feel good. And it's not that some of the things he wasn't saying wasn't correct, that she's a black queen and she's phenomenal. It sounded like a Maya Angelou poem. Sure, it was made to uplift her and make her feel good and make her feel confident. And I appreciate that. But we know Paul ain't interested in Dakia. He's just using her to get to the end. And you know what? And Dakia, I hope she doesn't allow herself to be used again. That's been one of the problems on this whole season. Dakia has allowed herself to get used by a lot of men on this episode because of the way she gives of herself to those people. And she talks about how she's been guarded in the past, But you know what? She needs to find the right calibration, because she has gone from being guarded to where now to me, she just gives herself to people and compliments them and loves all over these men, and they're not giving her anything in return. Paul's not interested in Dakia. I think he admires Dakia. I think he thinks all those things he said, that she's wonderful. She's a phenomenal woman. But I think what Carmen said about what P.O. said about Dakia behind her back, I believe it. I know Dakia don't believe Carmen, but she needs to. And that's part of the problem that Dakia doesn't do. She don't know how to read people. She doesn't know how to look at people's real intentions. She wants to believe all this other pie in the sky, rosy color stuff. But you know what? She needs to look at some of the dirty people. Just like she said she got food by Eric, she's getting food by P.O. right now. And she got food and used by Clifton as well. And she better believe some of this stuff that Carmen is saying, because even though Carmen is competitive, I think there is some truth in what Carmen said. Carmen was basically trying to say that P.O. said that Dakia didn't really turn him on. And he's like, oh, his face of shock and awe. I think he didn't believe Carmen would say that. And he said, no, that's not what I said. I said that she could be. Well, that's kind of saying the same thing. That's saying that she isn't now, but she could be. So there is some truth to what Carmen was saying, P.O. The fact that she said he doesn't want to think about how to get aroused. And he said, well, that's not what I said. He said, I like my women sexy. I didn't say she couldn't do it for me. See? And that's what he's saying. He's saying that she's not as sexy to him, but it doesn't mean that she can't bring it. So there is some truth into what Carmen was saying, Dakia. You need to listen to it. And you know, Dakia said, well, sexy doesn't need to be on display. Classy is always in style. That was a good line. And I do agree with you, Dakia, on that line. The problem is you dealing with P.O. He already told you there's P.O. and there's Paul. Okay, P.O. is over here who wants you to bring the sexy, and Paul is the new guy. His friend told you he likes P.O. likes Carmen, and Paul, who he's trying to be, may like a Dakia, but he ain't all the way there yet. And P.O. said he is a little bit about Carmen he don't like. Well, Carmen's always trying to size him up. Carmen ain't trying to size you up. She always trying to size up the women, the competition, because Carmen is competitive. And P.O.'s like, well, she don't need to be worrying about other women if she building with me. Carmen is going to worry about the competition because she's competitive. You trying to ask a person who loves to compete not to worry about the competition? That ain't going to happen. In this episode, it was sad to watch Dakia. So we know going forward who are going to be the couples. I guess it's going to be Sabrina and Demetrius, Donovan and Carmen, and Joy and Clifton. And we know of all this, and I guess Paul and Dakia. But we know in the end, the only real couple here that even has a shot at making it is Clifton and Joy, because everybody else, they're going to fall apart. Even if they do say yes at the end of this experiment, it's going to fall apart. The only one that has a shot is Clifton and Joy. And you know what? Joy live all the way in Mexico, and Clifton can't be leaving no 3-year-old at home. So even that ain't going to really probably go nowhere at all. They're going to have to love each other from afar.